All right. Just start with a nickname. Tell
They call
everybody.
me LIL MEX
How
out of
old are
Carno
you?
Valley. I'm 37.
37.
I come from California originally, been out here for 23 years or so. Back in 2013, I ended up having that really bad pregnancy. It turned out to be gestational diabetes and cancer. And due to subchronic hemorrhaging, my placenta and my uterus up the walls, and it went from doing pain pills from the pregnancy to after I had the baby, I buried him at 25. And then it escalated from there. I couldn't get hold of the pain pills after I had my son and stuff, and turned to heroin. Heroin turned around, turned into me shooting up and everything for a year and a half. I'm 11 years clean off the needle itself, but otherwise I still use I was using, was really, really bad with abusive relationship last 7 years or so. It went from doing heroin to, from cocaine to crack, from crack to
So
back to heroin and stuff. So
you started using because you lost your baby. Not like
I was
nobody.
using, the doctors were giving me pain pills
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. The
Okay.
doctors were giving me pain pills and anything. And I'm talking perk 15, perk 30s and stuff. Oxycontins, oxycodones, because I was subcardiac hemorrhage. At 7 months, I looked like this at 7 months.
Yeah.
The baby was 1 pound, 10 ounces. But they told me because I was raped and beaten, the internal damage that was done from the molestation of the little girl has escalated to the point to where now the baby wasn't going to make it, or we weren't both going to make it. So it wasn't. It really didn't hit me until the doctors come in there with the lawyer talking about you got to if you was to die today, what would you want to happen with the other 3 kids? Talking about do you have a living will?
Yeah.
Type crap. It scared the hell out of me. 25 and everything, having 3 other kids. I was on a heart monitor and stuff. I had to take insulin on my son. Just became full blown diabetic. Depression kicked in, anxiety kicked in, and then when I buried him, instead of really just escalate there, because by then I was already addicted to the pain pills. To where I had to have them every day.
Right.
And at the time before that, the only thing I did was smoke weed. And just that was just one thing. That was the only thing that ever broke. That no, nothing else in my life that it never broke me. But when I buried my son at 25, and the doctor told me you can never have kids again, that right there was the end of it.
Oh yeah, that's
And
understandable right there.
it escalated. 25 years old and stuff. But I took drug court for a little while, about 10 months or so, and they just kept giving me like a slap on the hand, put me back in jail, let me back out, doing the same thing, repeat over and over and over. And I tried. I didn't really try hard enough because I know I could do. I could actually do it if I went to my mind to. But unfortunately, my rehab, I hate to say it, but it's jail. They know me, but they don't know me. But back in 2016, I thought I was a nobody. I thought, I was just like a body just walking on this earth, and then I overdosed in jail one Sunday night. And here it is, it's 2016, we're in 2025, and people still remember that to this day. I just had a girl a couple of days ago, like, ain't you the girl overdosed, back in, in FCDC? I can't believe people still remember that.
Yeah.
But this is my one and only body, out of body, experience. And when my body and my spirit separated itself, my spirit stood over my body, watching these people, narcan me, watching them hit me, and
What's the
saying,
longest?
"Take care of
How
me."
long have you been? What's the longest you done been clean?
About a year and a half.
How'd you do that?
Well, I went to jail, I think, for about 10 months or so. And then I turned around and got out, and I was clean for about 6 more months. And for that 6 months, though, I got myself involved in a toxic relationship. And he kept saying anything, you're getting high with everybody else but me, me, and stuff. So I kept trying to tell him I wasn't. I wasn't smoking weed, I wasn't doing nothing. And it just, yeah. So finally, I got tired of repeating myself, I got tired of arguing with this man. And so I went ahead and just, what happened? Not only did I relapse myself back on heroin and stuff, I let this man get addicted too. You know, you want to bug me about it, say, "Swear, you're missing something. You're not missing." He had never done heroin before.
You still talk to him?
And no, I actually separated myself after almost 7 years of abusive. I mean, physical abusive and stuff. We would literally have fist fight. I finally left him, and about 5 weeks later or so, the police department kicked in the damn door and stuff, took him and his son both to jail and stuff. But I had left him like 5 weeks before this, after 6 years, 6.5 years, something like that. And I actually, cut my ties. Your Lord, he was with me and everything. He helped me. He made me strong enough to do that. So it was like one thing at a time, I think. So he's still in jail. He actually went to jail, got out for a couple of weeks and everything, and then went back. And I guess because he couldn't handle it.
You said you're from California, right?
Yes. Long story short, my mom was running from social services in California. They caught up with her in Indiana. Indiana turned around, she was running Kentucky and stuff. I met the gay guy's friend that was actually straight, and I ended up having 3 kids with him. And we were together for 16 years. And after, like I said, after I buried my son at 25, he went to all bad out of hell, off the rocker and then drinking. And then my father-in-law died from cocaine overdose. He thought it was, cocaine. It was heroin. His friend, he thought it was cocaine, or thought it was cocaine, and his friend got him pure heroin and stuff. So we have to actually walk in and found him deceased in the chair and stuff. But yeah, so that relationship got real toxic also real fast and everything. And I turned around, like I said, when I lost the baby, when I buried him, they think all hell was loose.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said kids. How many kids you got?
I've got 4, 3 living, 1
Yeah.
deceased. So
Yeah,
I got a 21-year-old. My mom smothered him when he was 2 weeks old. She killed him because her daddy wouldn't fuck her, sleep with her. Excuse my language. Yeah, she wrapped me around the light pole, and I almost wrapped me around the light pole with my 19-year-old. By the grace of the God and my higher power and things that even though he's got jokes, you know what I'm saying, sometimes, my son, both my boys are alive. They're 21 now and 19, both smart as techs, and lady brought them back to life. And
so have they been reaching out to you to get you to come back to California?
No. I haven't gone from California. Me and my family were never close. We've always been separate. You know what I'm saying? When I left, when I was 10, 11 years old, I kind of like, I'm always not the black sheep, but I'm like the purple and blue sheep.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's different when your kids though, it's
my
like
kids,
it's kind of separate, like when you have kids, that's your family.
Yeah,
like,
my babies, my babies are my kids. You know what I'm saying? I talk to my kids and stuff. As far as my family in California, they don't know my kids. They're not a part of that life. They've never been a part of that life. My kids, don't know who their aunts and uncles are. I told them, what I'm saying, they know they have aunts and uncles. They know they have grandparents. They never met them. I don't.
So you stay in contact with them regularly?
No. My kids, yes. My family themselves, no. My babies will always be my babies and stuff, no matter how big or like that and stuff. But
so you do the drugs, but you maintain, like,
yeah.
So you're not
I try
out
to
here on the
control
street.
them and not control me.
You're not on the streets or nothing like that, like you.
I try to put my priorities together. I try to take care of you and stuff, which is the kids, the bills, the groceries, make sure, everything's needed, everything that I need and stuff, the kids need and stuff are okay. I don't sell my food stamps because I know my kids and stuff, if they need food stamps, if they need some groceries, I don't care if they're 21 or 81. They're always going to be my child, and they're always going to need help because I know I need help, even at 37 from my parents, and every little thing, it helps and stuff. So, yeah, so I always make sure, reach out to the kids and everything 2 or 3 times a week, make sure they're okay and stuff. My 19-year-old graduated high school last year, and he's going into college his first year, I believe. He started like 3 weeks ago.
How do you maintain out here? Like, what do you do to get the drug or? Because I know when that guy walked past you, I guess he thought you was
that's what I said. A lot of people think I'm a prostitute. They think I do tricks because a lot of women do. That's what I say is I'm a bitch, not a whore. And they can't stand that. And a lot of people are like, what is that? I've never heard that. And I'm like, it's the same from California. I was raised in everything. The Lord, this is not my body. This is nothing but a temple. This is just something that I borrowed. I have to give it back. When when my story's done, when my life and my journey and stuff, you might as well say anything. It's how I was raised. And so therefore, as far as like tattoos and stuff, things are just, yeah. But as far as maintaining, I hustle.
That you do the drug, but you ain't made it that far into it to where you're selling yourself. And
I haven't been selling myself, but I've been hustling. Like I tell people, I can't lay down and stuff and do anything with anybody. I'm afraid to get Ajax and some Ajax and bleach don't wash off. But I'll kick in your door, I'll rob you. You know what I'm saying? Take your shit right there in front of you and stuff and take, right in front of your face. And people are like, are you serious? The other night I got thrown out of my so-called friend's motel room at 5 o'clock in the morning because I put his heroin with my heroin instead just to put it out because I thought he left it out for me. And he tried accusing me of stealing. So he took my stuff and his stuff and then threw me out. But like I told him anything, okay, whatever, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. But yeah, otherwise, I go to Walmart, outside. You know what I'm saying? If I get a vehicle, I'll go outside of town and the outskirts of Lexington because those stores really don't expect you to boost, And I'll walk out buggies full, $500, $600, $700, $800 worth of shit. Back in 2019, 2020, when the pandemic.
Yeah, well, hold on. I should have stopped. I'm sitting there listening to the story. I should have stopped. We don't want to,
What?
We don't want to pretty much talk about that. If that's something that you do, it's cool.
Oh, no. So what I'm saying anything and stuff is I was doing the most. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I had gotten involved in to where it was just me by myself and everything. I hit Walmart and stuff for about 18 to 20,000 on groceries. Yeah. And I was taking care of the other homeless people. Okay, I lived in a tent and stuff. I had about $6,000 worth of groceries in the tent. It was winter time. Yeah. So, me and Walmart, you know what I'm saying, I have to kind of separate myself from that place. Because as soon as they see me coming, I'm gone.
You on the street then,
Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my nickname, has a lot of respect and everything, at the end of the day and stuff. So when it comes to me having a prostitute like that for my drugs, it's a no-no. Like I will lose a lot of respect. Yeah. You know what I'm saying, by my friends and everything, and people, not only my friends, my acquaintances and stuff. Because of the fact that I don't have to go out here and do that. I don't have to disrespect myself, belittle myself, and just, all I gotta do is just tell them, hey, I'm sick, I need some money, this is what I need, you know what I'm saying? And once I get together and stuff, I go out and do my thing, which is hustle, you know what I'm saying? have which way means I can get it. Most of the time, anything, I'll clean your house, clean your car. You know what I'm saying? It's a last resort and anything. I'll go out to the
So
stores
you're
and
not
stuff.
homeless then? Cause you
Yes.
look pretty. You homeless?
Yes, I'm actually
So how
homeless.
do
Yeah.
you like? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I clean.
You're not like.
You gotta play the part and stuff. You gotta play the part. But I do have a friend. I actually just met here recently. He's 28 and he's a little youngster and stuff. But he has a mind like a 12-year-old. And people like to take advantage of him. And I don't like that. But he has his own apartment and stuff. So he's kind of like, one of the people where he
So you play the caregiver role.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes. And that's something I've always done my whole life. Is help people, being the caregiver and stuff.
Why not just be the 24-hour caregiver and get paid for it, and then you can leave the street life alone?
Well, I kind of have, but thinking about that was my addiction. And stuff, my addiction, anything, unfortunately, and stuff, will not let me. Me being out here with this addiction, anything, and stuff, and me being, involved in that. If I'm sick, how can I get up and take care of him? When I have to go out and rip and run, do what I hustle and stuff and get my stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I try to get, what I can.
So do you want to be clean?
Yeah, I do and stuff to an extent, but extent no. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense currently at the moment and stuff to myself.
No, because a lot of people told me that they enjoy doing the drug and stuff. Like a lady I just did one with, she was pretty hype and telling me that she's gonna take the money and go get some drugs, and I told her I wish she would get something to eat. So, I mean,
believe it or not, I actually just ate and stuff, but I'm diabetic, so I eat 24/7. If you was looking at that bag and everything, you probably find about 3 different things and stuff to snack on. I actually just got rid of probably about $40 worth of junk food earlier.
No, whatever you do with it, it's your money at the end of the day. But I wish you would do something positive with it.
So I just could give me something to eat and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm out here for. So, I mean, pretty much when we finish this interview, hopefully you'll use that number. We can do another one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Get a follow up on you, follow your life. Where you're going.
So I want my expectations instead of what I want out of life. I can't do what I wanted to 10, 15 years ago, but it's never too late because I'm still here. And it's a lot more I can say for my buddy. My buddy over here and thing, he lost his legs, and you know what I'm saying, not too long ago. He's in a wheelchair, and now he's living in the trees. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on with him. And
I've been trying to talk to him a couple times. I met him the first time up there by the baseball park.
Yeah, his name's Wild Bill.
Okay.
And stuff. He's cool people. You know, he's really cool people. A lot of people take advantage of him, and that's something else.
Y'all try to get him on camera for me one day.
I don't know where he's at. Is he over there today?
I don't know if he's over there today.
Okay, but I'll sit down with him and stuff and talk to you. Sit down with him and stuff while you want to do your interview and stuff like that.
Okay, so you?
But yeah, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I probably have a couple of other people and stuff, also that like tell. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, somebody's story somewhere, something, somebody, could take it. You know what I'm saying? And they can either take it for what it is, or they, there's might be something. That could save my story. That's why I always tell people about going to jail or anything. There's somebody there could possibly either take my story and help them, or I could take something from their story and help me. Okay. So I always just try to keep my open, positive mind. But otherwise, for the most part and everything, I've got people that love and care about me. And that's one thing I always got to remember. And stuff. At the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about my addiction. It's about the people that love and care about me and the respect and stuff how I was raised.
Well, that sounds good. No, I guess tell everybody your nickname again.
My name is LIL MEX.
And if you got anything that you want to say to any family, you want to tell the kids anything positive, you want to talk to your kids, is there anything?
I always talk to my babies and stuff. My kids always, my animals and stuff. I've got 5 Rottweilers, 1 Chihuahua, and then my world and my pride and joy, and my ex hates it. But otherwise, I love life. Always stay positive, keep your head up. Always know that the next person next to you never know what they're going through. So.
All right, that sounds good.